Showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
Okay, all right. What's the deal? What's going on? What is the happenings? All the what's for all those good people out there around the world. I'm here for another show. How has your week been, folks? I'm always reaching out, looking out for your well-being. And we're here together once again, talking about what's going on in these United States of America and wherever else, and even though I mostly concentrate on the United States. Listen, I'm going to try to get more international here. I'm going to try to get more international. Damn, I forgot one thing as it came to mind. I goofed up on what I was going to talk about, folks. I was going to get a list of the organizations that you can donate to since the whole thing went down over in Texas. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. It just hit me, and I'm like, damn. I'm so sorry. I was writing my notes over the weekend, and those were one of the points, and I was jotting them down, and it just hit me. I was like, yo, am I forgetting something? And look at it. I forgot. Yo, look, promise next week I will get a list of organizations that you guys should donate to, should watch. But be careful. Because you never know if these front organizations from God knows go. Hold on one second. My bad, folks. I left the window open. You never know with these host organizations. Whatever organization is going to put you, or whatever you hear out there and on the internet or on TV, whatever. You never know what angle they're coming from, but you have to do your best to do your own homework. And, especially Haitian folks, and call people back home and say, okay, what is this person doing? What's their background? What work have they done previously that was successful, that they continue to do work on? Call different or other sister organizations. Maybe they have worked with other organizations on a particular project. Go over, you never know. What else I can think of? Just talk to people, man. Just talk to people, and if they're good people, they're good people, man. If and make sure that you can do the work with them. So yeah, man. So I'll give you those lists of organizations. And I found some too. I found several, but I promise I'm going to share it. I was supposed to do it last week. I didn't do it. And then I was actually, because I thought I forgot about it last week, and then it was on my mind, and I was, okay, I'm jotting down everything, and then I didn't do it. And my bad, Joe. My bad. And see, I even wrote it down. I wrote it down. Oh my God. Sorry. Anyway. All right. So all right, let's get the show on going, because some things I want to talk about. And let's see if we can get this under an hour. All right, I am your host, Nova Phoenix, on GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio, and I'm going to get this show going with some things that's going to get you pissed off, some things you're not going to get you pissed off, and some things you're just going to agree with me on. Yeah, those are the beautiful things when we just match each other, fit hand to glove. Anyway, let's get this going. So everybody at this point have seen the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight. Yes, they have seen the fight. A lot of people was giving praise on social media. A lot of people was talking about it on various articles. But more so than anything, the celebs were giving positive energy to the fight, to Deontay Wilder, to Tyson Fury. Big up to Tyson Fury, man. He definitely bested Deontay Wilder in that ring for 11 rounds. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to see it because I didn't pay for the pay-per-view, but I tell you what, That's the beauty of the internet, man. I kept on typing. I kept on putting in the name, and guess what? It popped up. Now, they took it down, but as soon as I found that fight, the 11 rounds, I watched it. I was like, yo, I have to see how this thing goes. So I saw the joint. Now, Tyson Fury definitely did best Deontay Wilder in the fight. Deontay Wilder said he did what he tried, but I guess it wasn't his best. Now, I love my brother. My brother always, I'll show love to Deontay Wilder, man. He is a winner. He is a champion. He has knocked out plenty of folks. So let's not get that twisted. Just because he lost against Tyson Fury, that he ain't that type of that pedigree. He been knocking out people. So big ups always to Deontay Wilder, man. This is nothing, man. This is nothing. So this is my thing, and I'm going to critique. I'm going to be honest with it, how I felt about the whole thing. So Deontay Wilder, when I started watching the fight, and I'm like, damn, freaking Fury is like huge. This dude, I mean, none of these fighters are small in any way. But Fury is 277 pounds and Wilder is 238 pounds. A 40-pound difference. Does this play a factor in heavyweight division? Some say not, some say it is. But some people say when it comes to heavyweight fighting at a certain poundage, it doesn't really matter, because when you reach a certain weight, you could just knock out anybody. So if there's a 20-pound difference in like the welterweight, definitely, of course, that the opponent that's going to be heavier is going to have that physical advantage on the smaller opponent. But when you start getting to heavyweight, they say it doesn't really matter when it's a 40-pound difference. Not to say in certain ways it may have a small advantage, but they're saying, I guess, in terms of knockout power and when opponents face each other, it really doesn't have that big of a difference as opposed to the lower weight divisions. But definitely, and it's funny, I may say this, Tyson Fury did use his weight. He used his weight. He was putting, Deontay in headlocks, and even though, the ref was trying to break that up, he was like, yo, stop doing that. He was putting his weight on him. And it's funny that Deontay Wilder is not a small guy either. So he's definitely used his weight against other opponents as well. So how ironic that Tyson Fury turned that around on him, and he definitely used his weight on Deontay Wilder. Was that a big factor? No, it wasn't a big factor, but I think it did play a part, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Skill. Tyson Fury had drive and energy, man. He threw more hands. He was on the offensive. He was definitely, moving his hands back and forth, up and down, really trying to show them he was trying to confuse Deontay and what he was going to throw. It's funny. Smaller fighters on the lower weight classes could get away with that. The dazzle, you know what I mean? Not a lot of heavyweight can dazzle their opponents because, especially in the heavyweight division, when you're bigger, you're slower, you have more weight to throw around, so it doesn't look as graceful and as fast. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe when you're getting against your opponent in the ring, that it may confuse. But I've seen more dazzle where you can confuse your opponent on the lower weights, like definitely middleweight, light middleweight, welter, things of that nature. But heavyweights, you really have to be athletic to throw around 240, 220 pounds. Mike Tyson was a dude that could throw his weight around. That dude was a beast. Look, I keep on forgetting Mike Tyson's coach name. Who's Mike Tyson's coach? Italian dude. Mike Tyson's. Yeah, Customato. All right. Some people say Customato. They Constantine Cuss. They call him Customato. Threw it together. Anyway, Customato. So, Customato definitely gave Mike Tyson the tools to really use his weight. Mike Tyson was a big guy, man. Mike Tyson was not a small guy. He was a bull, but he knew how to bob and weave and use his upper body and throwing those uppercuts and those hooks. My man, you didn't know where he was coming from. So not all heavyweights can move their body around, move their weight around. But Tyson Fury, he's not that type of fighter. He was not that type of fighter. He caught a Wilder a couple times, several times. And he got some good shots in, which is bound to happen. But, you know, Tyson Fury, even though, who was his coach? Emmanuel, damn, let's go check here. Tyson Fury's trainer. Tyson Fury's trainer was Sugar Hill Stewart, and that is, I think, the nephew of Emmanuel Stewart. Emmanuel Stewart was the commentator on for decades for fight. He was a trainer as well, and they're saying that Emmanuel Stewart, and I want to get this right. He's a nephew of legendary Hall of Fame trainer Emmanuel Stewart. So he did give definitely. You can see the training with Fury. But Fury is not really Fury. I'm not knocking Fury at all, but he's no. Let me see some fighters, and I apologize if I can't remember any. It's usually when I'm thinking of it in the moment that I'll forget champions, boxers. And I think he's no Sugar Ray, he's no Golovkin, he's no what's his name? Oh my God, I can't remember my man name. I can't remember my man name. Roy Jones Jr. He's not Roy Jones Jr. He's not. Who was that new fighter? That Ukrainian dude. He's a new fighter. Oh man, my man's mad nice. Vitaly, boxer. Let me see, boxer. Not Klitschko. I am so not a Klitschko fan. I'm not a Klitschko fan. Ukrainian fan. I think he's from Ukraine. Matrix. I think they throw around Matrix a lot because my man has Vasil Lomachenko, man. Vasil Lomachenko. I love this dude's fighting skill, his fighting style, the way he just moves about on sidesteps his fighters, his opponents, while he throws them the flurry and he sidesteps them. It's like, and sometimes his opponents don't know, okay, is he going left? Is he going right? And next thing you know, he's like behind them. The dude is a skilled, masterful fighter. Vasil Lomachenko, Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray, okay, Muhammad Ali, another big guy that could really throw his hands around his feet. You know, definitely, that's not Tyson Fury. Definitely not Tyson Fury. And I think the difference between Tyson Fury and Deontay, Tyson Fury stuck to the script. Tyson Fury took his training and kept it in the ring. Okay, so he definitely got ahead of Deontay. Now, going to Deontay, and my brother reached out to me. He was like, "Yo, what's really good with Deontay, man? He could take all them years, all that training time, and then look at this dude. He looking like, you know." So I didn't know what he meant at the very beginning, but what he meant was he was gassing out. And I saw that when I finally saw the fight. I was like, Deontay, yo, am I seeing correct? Is he getting tired in the third, fourth round? Definitely by the fourth round, I saw him tiring around. He started clotting. He started really, slowing up. He really was looking fatigued. And I'm like, what, a professional fighter looking fatigued in the fourth? Okay, I respect if you get fatigued, and it happens. You get fatigued in the 10th round. You've seen it. But a professional fighter getting fatigued in the fourth, and I had a couple of reasons why. One, he was very muscular. He came in at a solid 238. He's bigger in his other fights, right? So a lot of times when you're over muscled, what happens when you use your muscles, right? As opposed to fattier people, your muscles use more energy. And the more you move, the more energy you eat up. So my man Deontay was muscled. That played a factor in it. The other factor is he started out well in the first, second, third rounds, right? He started out well. He gave some midsection shots, throwing, sticking to the jab, doing his thing. But then slowly but surely, by like the second, third, something in that round, he started to forget his training. I don't know if he got frustrated, but he started going right back to that one punch man thing. And Deontay is famous for that. And I haven't seen all of Deontay's fights. I haven't seen all of them. But the fights that I have seen, he's a brawler. Deontay is a brawler. And that was something that I always felt was going to be a disadvantage to him if he faced another technical fighter. Deontay used his weight and his power. He's a powerful boxer from his size and his muscular stature. But he used his one punch right hand as a crutch. And I think that's what he tried to do. He had the training, but somehow all the training left him, and he started trying to knock out Fury with that one-handed right punch. And that's what took a lot of his energy. Now, the thing is, you got to remember, people want to see a bloodbath, right? Boxing fans, they want to see a bloodbath. The boxing community that's in that third, fourth, fifth row, they want to see a bloodbath. They think as heavyweights, as the fighters that throw those impactful punches that you literally feel the wind blow past you in like the upper deck rows. That's how they see heavyweight boxers. All right, they see them as Marvel superheroes. But you got to get those voices out of your head, and you got to stick to your training. And the one thing that I say what Mayweather does, they was giving Mayweather a lot of slack. Oh, you a runner, you evade, you run. But he didn't give a goddamn. Mayweather stuck to his fighting style. And his fighting style was evade and attack. And even to the point where he was like, all right, you think I'm going to evade? I'm going to fight this dude, and I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to still evade when I can, when I'm going to show you I'm a boxer. And, he shut them up. I forgot what boxer it was, but he definitely showed that, all right, cool, you think I'm running? I'm going to stay right here and stand up, toe-to-toe. I'm still using my evading skills, though. But that's the thing with Deontay. My man is the brawler. And a lot of people think that boxing is not a cerebral sport. They think is two men bloodying themselves to a pulp to the point where they start slurring later on in their career. No, it's not like that. It's a strategy game. It's chess, and your pieces are the techniques that you're using your hand, from your jab to your hook, left hook, right hook, uppercut, and how you're moving, your dodge, your parry, your slip, all right, your fall back, how you pivot, all those things you have to use, and you have to think in the moment. And I think that, Deontay is not that type of fighter. And I knew it was going to come to a point where that was going to be his disadvantage. And sure enough, that's what happened when he was facing Fury. Fury was ready. Fury was ready. And rightfully so, he bested Deontay Wilder. And I think Fury did beat him, but I think more so Wilder beat himself. Wilder beat, and he progressively got more tired in the fourth, in the fifth, in the sixth. And I said, eventually, you know what? I see it happening. I see it. He's going to get knocked out. And I saw the punch. Like I said, Fury did give him some solid punches. But in that punch that you consider a knockout punch, if he was crisp, if he paced himself, he could have ate that. He could have rolled off that punch. He could have thought of a strategy to use his shoulder, or to block the punch, or to step out of the corner. And that was getting me upset. He kept on staying in the corner. Get out the corner, bro. Evade. Get out the corner. He's going to drop his whole big 270-pound body on you to get you tired. And he was doing that. Step out the corner. Get a little rest. You know what I'm saying? Back up. There's nothing wrong with backing up and getting a little rest and see, okay, how am I going to deal with this right now? I used to box a little bit back in the day, right, in my 20s. So I get it. And I love boxing, and I watch boxing. I don't watch a lot of sports, right? In general, I don't watch a lot of sports because I'm so busy with this. But I used to do that back in the day. I played with martial arts over the years of my life. But one of the martial arts, and I say that I love the best, was one of the top best was boxing. All right. And then 2020, guess what? 2020, I signed up to go to a Muay Thai gym. I was doing that for about 2 or 3 months. I signed up in 2019, December. I signed up my daughter too, taking Muay Thai, right? Because I wanted to get back, stay fresh, keep, you know what I mean? Keep in shape, mostly to keep in shape. But then what happened in 2020? Guess what happened? COVID happened. So you can't mix it up, sweating on people sweating on you. So I canceled my membership, and they were very nice about it. And I never went back because of the COVID thing, but eventually I will to stay in shape. But I always watched boxing. I was a love of the sport, and I catch it when I can. And when I'm watching Deontay, and I'm not a super professional or whatever like that. It's not, I'm not one of those. I'm not like Roy Jones and all of a sudden I'm commentating. But from what I can see, and there's a lot of things I didn't understand why Deontay didn't stay, with, like the evading, like how to block his right hook, how to block that crossover, or evade or best him in a lot of the things that you can see coming from what Fury was throwing. But because he was tired, he couldn't see it. And because Deontay was tired, he was also like throwing really good punches, but because he was fatigued, it was going way over Fury's head, or like it was like 5 feet in front of Fury. So I knew Deontay was going to fall. I knew it. It was just a matter of which round where he was just going to gas out and be like, and that punch did it. It just took him. So, it is what it is. I don't know. I think he should just be done with it. He's 35 now, I think. Deontay, he got a couple more matches in him. He fought for a long time. I think it's time to wrap it up. You know what I mean? It's time to wrap it up. He got 3 chances with Fury. He got the draw with him in the first one. The second one, Fury won, and then Fury won in this one. So it's like, well, what are you gonna do? That's it. That's all it is. All right. So the next thing, I spoke about it on I think I posted about it. The outcome of Facebook. Now it's funny. I was checking out this little podcast. I saw it on Twitter, and it was actually Washington Post podcast. They're called Post Reports. So this particular podcast had a host called Martine Powers, and she had a guest called, and her name was Liza Dwoskin, I think it was. So they were talking about the whole thing with Facebook, what you should do ever since they shut down, and people, they call Facebook or social media a utility, and it's very useful to millions of people. I don't think necessarily people want to leave social media alone, but what you should do is kind of part ways with Facebook or social media, give it a break, take it easy. So they were giving all these great points as far as what do people do now in terms of how they're going to handle social media, of course, in particular, Facebook. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And I'm listening. It was like a 15-minute, 20-minute podcast talking about the whistleblower and everything like that, right? But there was one thing they did not say. How about let's try some other social media apps? They never said it. They never said it. They never said, okay, you could give social media a break. I don't think social media is going anywhere. So instead of using Facebook, let's give these other Facebook app companies a chance. Maybe they'll do something different if you have problems with Facebook's algorithms, how they track you, how they doing some dastardly things with their algorithm to get more people involved in the social media app, and they just care about the money. Okay, I understand, but how come not give no alternatives? Let's give some alternatives. And I shouted them out. I said my piece on Twitter, and I was like, yo, how come you just? You got stocks on Facebook? I mean, it's like almost, and I gave an analogy, it's almost like Nike saying, okay, for whatever reason, they're not making sneakers anymore. And they're saying, well, I guess nobody's wearing any more sneakers. Pack it up. I guess we're going back to wearing sandals. Like, what? Who says that? What? Who says that? If you got an issue with Nike, or Nike stops making sneakers, so we just gonna stop wearing sneakers altogether. That's it, right? Nah. How come they didn't offer any alternatives? So I'm always wondering about that, because I'm like, the door was wide open. I tell you, the door was wide open for them to talk about it, and they never did. I wonder why. Yeah, and then I saw Blavity. So Blavity, I said this on my. I said this on. What do you call it? I posted something on IG. I rarely post, and I gave my reasons for it. But then, Blavity was on Twitter, and they was like, "Oh my God!" When he shut it down, I'm like, "Oh, Facebook is over." And I love Blavity, by the way. I love Blavity. I love everything about. I follow the owner, Marsha DeBaum, I think her name is. Follow her, love everything she's about. Love what Blavity's about. But then they said on Twitter, they was like, "Yeah, where's Black Planet or something or other?" I'm like, "What? Black Planet?" No, let's not do that. Let's not. Come on. Let's leave Black Planet where they left off in the past. Let's get some new energy, some new blood. Let's pump that. How about that? Let's do an article on some up and coming founders, in particular Black founders, that have their own social media app, and they're pushing that to the greater masses and stuff, and they're making their building and all that. How about that? Why are we even messing with Black Planet? Okay, let's leave that one alone. That's like you bringing out your old ratty ass sneakers in the back of the closet. You be like, "Damn, I ain't got no sneakers. I'm gonna just wear it." No, you could just buy some new ones. How about that? And you have the money. Yo, Blavity, I don't know why they said that. Anyway, what's next? Oh yeah, Rihanna. This is type old. I was supposed to mention this a little bit ago. So I finally saw her Savage Fenty show on Amazon. Yo, and it was dope. It was super dope. I could dig it. It was diversity in the crowd with the models, right? The thin, the big, the gay, the straight, dark skin, light skin. The message of inclusivity. Yeah, it was bold and present. It was all wrapped up in there. And I like the clothes, man. I'm not a Speedo person. I saw some Speedos. I'm like, I don't think so. Especially in my fluffy moments right now. I'm not even gonna wear Speedos when I drop the weight. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But I did like what I did like. I like the smoke. It looked like a smoking jacket. It was like real silky and long. That was dope with the pants. That was nice. I like that. Loved some of the women wear. A couple of pieces. Yo, Rihanna. Big ups to Rihanna, man. She doing her thing, man. Yo, and especially big ups to the whole show with their location. It was at the Westin Bonaventure Hotel in Los Angeles, because I was looking at that and I was like, what? Where are they shooting this? And I went to the credits after it was done. I was like, yo, that's a fly-ass hotel. You know what I mean? And they had the drones flying through, getting the models. Never seen anything like that. It's the first time I'm seeing video coverage or a recording of a hotel like that. The architecture was off the chain, man. So shout out to the Westin Bonaventure for getting that hooked up for this Rihanna Savage Fenty, man. And again, big ups to Rihanna, man. Love Rihanna. Shout out to Barbados, you know what I mean? And all her success. And, everybody's looking for her music. And she says she's working on it. She ain't stressing it because she definitely is comfortable. Yo, Rihanna's comfortable right now. So she going to get you the music when she's ready to get you that music. But so she says she got some joints knocked down. She's working on some things. I'm waiting for that reggae album, man. For real. Mix it up with some Buju. Mix it up with some all the new reggae artists right now. I forgot the new reggae. Shense, whatever like that. She's in the top 10. I follow her. Love her vibe. Am I getting her name right? Let me see if I get her name right. Woman reggae artist. Shen Yang, I think her name is. Shensia, first Jamaican female dancehall artist to appear on the Billboard 100 chart in 17 years. Yeah, man. Shout out to Shensia, if that's how you pronounce her name, man. Definitely gonna get her music like a vibe, man. And what's up with reggae, man? Reggaeton is hitting hard right now. Reggaeton definitely got influence from reggae music. Where's reggae, man? Maybe it's just me, but you know what I mean. I'm looking for some reggae tunes, man. for them to come hard. Who's the new generation reggae artist that's just really hitting hard right now? Just not just sincere. I hate that one rapper, one reggae artist, one R&B, one per city, one per decade, one per year. Like, come on. I mean, we only gonna do this one. We're only gonna allow one artist to be super successful. That's it. Like, no, yeah, that's how I see it. It's always this one business, one. Come on, where's the community at? So I don't know. That's my thing. Everybody only getting one. Anyway, Dave Chappelle, man, this is gonna be a controversial one for me. Oh yeah. So Dave Chappelle, he did his show, The Closer, on Netflix, and everybody, it's a shitstorm. It's a circ. Everybody's throwing in their 2 cents. Everybody's saying fuck Dave Chappelle, and everybody is saying big ups Dave Chappelle. You were brave enough to say something like that. So Dave Chappelle was on it. They calling him transphobic because he had some words that was questionable and insulting to the trans community. And he knew it. He knew that was going to happen. They was going to get at him after the show, and certainly enough, they did. Everybody was getting at him, but their same amount of energy was supporting Dave Chappelle. Even they were trying to cancel him, get the show removed off of Netflix. Netflix exec said, nope, we're not going to do it. So much so, something happened. I didn't read the story. But they said that even 3 trans people or someone like that in Netflix company that worked there, they were fired because they were trying to say something against Dave Chappelle. I don't know the particulars. Something must have happened, and it turned the bosses upside down. So Netflix ain't doing nothing with the Closer. So listen, I take it like this. Dave Chappelle is a smart man. Dave Chappelle is a complicated man. Dave Chappelle is a flawed man. He's a funny man. All these things wrapped up together, and he's intentional. All these things wrapped up together. He did a couple of specials on Netflix, and each one hit a point, man. It hit a nerve, and it hit a nerve for a very specific reason. There were definite points in his stand-up where it was basically throwing out the debate for the PC police, the politically correct police. And there was of course, obvious. I saw it. I'm sitting in the couch and watching this show, and I'm like, yeah, he said that because he's trying to get somebody to bite. Because of course, for people to bite, it's just going to stir up people talking. Oh my God, what he said! This is what he said. This is so bad. This how dare he say? And that's exactly what happened. So there were some things that he said that got people talking. Other than I can't say the transphobic thing is really ringing bells right now in the town. But yeah, he said some things that he was hoping people get a bite. But more so than anything, what Dave Chappelle says, he doesn't say it just strictly for shock value, but he says it to get a point across, and especially with the trans community. And I think he mentioned the trans comedian that he worked with. He mentioned the fights that he got in with a lesbian couple. He mentioned, what body parts is this? He's part of the TERF crew. This is a new thing, a TERF thing. Like, I'm like, really? Come on, it's all these acronyms. It's killing me. It's killing me. TERF. I'm like, what's TERF? What's TERF? But essentially saying that they stand by TERF folks, stand by the how should I say, the biological how should I say it, belief and standing by a person's biological gender. Let's say it like that. So if you're born with woman parts, you're a woman. If you're born with man parts, you're a man. Not to say everybody is going through this human experience, as you said. So says his trans friend that passed away to kill herself. That was terrible. I didn't even think that story was going to go that direction. I was like, oh my God, really? And that goes off into a whole nother conversation that I want to talk about as far as in terms of celebrity and people that are mentally able to deal with things that pressure from the from the community. When it's 50,000, 100,000, a million people getting at you, look, Dave Chappelle knows that. He's seasoned in it. He could deal with voices, so many voices. But when you come into the game and all of a sudden you dealing with a million people, each one giving your opinion, and if you're already coming from a weakened space, mental space, because of your own experience, man, that could be heavy on someone, and it can unfortunately take it to a place where this person did. But yeah, he had a lot of things to say, and people didn't like that. So one article that came out, they were saying this article came out, headline saying some black organization, I think it was called, that had an issue with Dave Chappelle. It was called the National Black Justice Coalition. And I was like, huh? What? I read the headline one time. I was like, who the fuck? Yo, I did not know who. I felt like Jimon Hunsu when he was playing Korath the Pursuer, when he was facing Star-Lord. You know that part in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's got the orb in his hand, and then Star-Lord, he says, you know what? I'm Star-Lord. He says, who? I'm Star-Lord, dude. He just raised his hand. And that's how I felt about this organization. I was like, who? I don't know no National Black Justice Coalition. Who are these people? Who are these people? And this one thing I got to say, folks, man. You got to watch out, especially I'm talking directly to my black folk. You got to watch out for some of these organizations, man. You ain't never heard about. They ain't do no work. All of a sudden, they just pop out of nowhere, and they got an opinion to say, and they get on a national news media portal or whatever, whether it's online or offline, just to say their piece about some issue that's happening at the moment. And I look, it's got to be a conversation about the sophistication of institutional racism. It's not going to come from white people anymore. The white mouths. They're going to push forward people that's going to speak for them, so they can purposely dismantle whatever a movement that's being built. A conversation is being started about any injustice that's happening. And this organization, I'm like, who the fuck are these people? So yeah, you got to watch that. So I say, if you don't know what an organization is, to me, before I give any organization creed, you got to do the work on the streets. I got to see you already on the streets doing work on whatever issue, that is social issue that's facing black people in particular, or any other other group of people that's going through some sort of ism. And then I got to see you on the streets working and people speaking, and then you got to build up. And then if I see you on CNN or something like that, okay, I know where they're from. But all of a sudden you see this nondescript organization that comes out of nowhere that's being supported on some major news online publication, and you have to think, how the hell did you get space to talk about whatever is being talked about in the moment? And then you got to do some background on them. You got to see who's funding them, because a lot of times, again, the sophistication is that they'll have these organizations being funded by questionable people or other investors' background. Where do these people get their money from? And the people, the investors that's throwing money into these organizations, who are they? What's their background? You know what I mean? Again, you got to do the sleuth work. Who are these people? And then it comes to find out, a lot of times you find out with people in public, and you find out who their financiers are, and all of a sudden they turn out to be some racist, right wing. And that's the same thing I said about BNC, the black news channel. Again, this happened with the BNC. I mentioned it before on the show. I was like, BNC, all of a sudden they're promoting everywhere. They get marketed everywhere. It's just everywhere. They got an AM channel. They got an FM channel. They just popped out of nowhere. And that's where they got my man Mark Lamont Hill to host his show on there, and getting all these people. And I tuned into the AM station. Let me check out this AM station. And I knew something was up with it, because when I switched to the AM station, I want to hear people like Mark Lamont Hill. But when I first initially switched over to the AM station, all they were doing, they were talking about current events of black issues. Something that happened in Alabama, something happened in Florida, talk about the weather. It was very scripted on this AM thing. And I'm like, I don't like scripted news. They're saying you're black targeted, but if it's very generic, no. So then I started doing research, and I found out who freaking started BNC. I can't remember the name. It's a black Republican. Let me say it right now. And I said it before. I'm saying black Republican BNC owner. And people, this is the research that you could do yourself. Who found it? It was Bob Brillante. That's what Bob Brillante is a Brillante. Excuse me, Brillante. Brillante. He no longer is employed by runs BNC, but he was a Republican right-wing dude. I'm like, and it's like I said, there's nothing wrong with you being a white guy if you happen to work with a black operated company. But I got to know your politic. What's your politic? And the other one was Republican J.C. Watts. He was the member of the House of Representatives in Oklahoma, 4th District. And he talked a lot of mess when it came to black issues when he was in Congress. And I'm like, huh? A black Republican? Get out of here. Everybody knows, especially what's going on with the Republican Party right now. It ain't the Republican Party. It morphed into something else. Or maybe he just took off his coat and is showing his real colors. But yeah, this dude, J.C. Watts, I remember when he was running House of Rep. Oh, he was talking majorly reckless. Majorly reckless. When it came to black issue, police brutality, when it came to discrimination and the marginalized groups, everything he was talking about, anything. He had an issue with let me see here. I can't remember the name. Affirmative action. I mean, he had issues with it. I never liked that guy. Because I always see they put out this black puppet to say, hey, we got some black people in the Republican Party. No. So this guy is one of the owners of BNC. And the big dog, the big shark, the big donor. I'm gonna tell you right now, he's let me see here. The big donor of BNC. Let me see here. Let me see if I can scroll down here. He is BNC owner of the Panthers, I think. Football owner. Football owner. All right. The BNC. The Black News Channel. Let me see. Just stick with me, folks. Stick with me. I'm going to get it. I had all this at BNC Black News Channel. Come on, get out of here, Cord. Black News Channel. All right, not him. Jaguars owner. The Jaguars owner, all right? His name is... he was a big funder of this business. His name is Khan. His name is Shahid Khan. All right, Shahid Khan, a big investor of the Black News Channel, and guess what? He has funded he's a major donor of the Trump campaign. Huh? Major donor. So you have three people. This is a sophistication. So you have the front man, you got J.C. Watts, you got this guy Brillant that doesn't work there. They got another CEO that's doing this thing, right? And you got this dude that is the major financier of BNC. You have Shahid Khan. So they're going to wait for BNC to blow up. All these ad dollars is coming their way. And next thing you know, that ad money, that revenue is going to fund in some way directly or indirectly on policies, domestic policies that will not work for black people in this country. I am not stupid. So I don't really support BNC. I'm not messing with that. It could have been anybody. It could be anybody. It could be anybody to start something as BNC, something like that. And really, but these characters, you gotta. This is a game of chess, man. Okay, let's give them these, and it's just not. There's a lot of progressive black white people watching BNC too. Don't get it twisted. And all that, those eyes of that traffic they're generating. Oh man, you don't think that this dude Shahid Khan is going to fund some other far right wing Republican, as I say, what the party is today, and then we're giving them the money? We are. Oh my God, the irony is crazy. Our eyes and ears, our money, the money that they're getting from the viewership that they're collecting from whatever data sources that they're getting from, we are funding our own oppression. Come on, people. We got to be smarter. Come on, black people. We got to be smarter than this, man. We got to be smarter than this. So in that sense, I don't really mess with no goddamn black justice. I don't care who's running it. And if they start talking reckless, crazy things against that goes against the progress of the black community right now, I'm not from some really easy questions. Well, really easy question. I'm not going for it. If we're talking about police brutality, if we're talking about the pay wage gap between black families and white families, or we talking about as far as funding for businesses, that issue, we're talking about redlining, we're talking about banking, we're talking about insurance, and if the facts are being presented and say, hey, this is lopsided, this injustice is happening right now, this is how people become disenfranchised. We're talking about issues that affect the hood, and if they come on sideways talking some mess, you know they are being financed for something. I'm not gonna do it. So I ain't with that. So anyway, there definitely is some racist. Go back to Dave Chappelle. There's definitely some racist gay people. I myself has went through it. I went through it, and I continue to go through it. And since that first experience, this one experience where I was working. I was working at in a construction business. And I saw this woman, and she, all right, cool. And we knew she was gay because she's lesbian. She was she had a lot of the male energy. Excuse me. So I thought, hey, listen, I was totally cool with it. This is back in my 20s. So we've been talking about this issue. So I thought automatically I had my guard down. I was like, oh, wow, she's lesbian and she's a woman. I understand everything that she's going through in the construction business. I get it. She's marginalized. At the same time, I'm marginalized as being African American. We both have some similarities in how we're trying to move about in this country, right? But slowly but surely, she started to say her words to let me know that hell no, I am not on your side. Nah, I'm using my whiteness. I may be gay, I may have some issues, but best believe I'm playing on this team. And it's the words that she said, it's how she moved. And one way that to me was totally disrespectful. I knew a guy. He was a Dominican cat. The older Dominican plumber, man. Probably like in his late 50s, early 60s. I think in early 60s. Owned a couple of buildings. He let me know how he got a hold of them. He's about to retire. He's doing good, making money. He lived his life. And he was short, man. He was like 5'4", 5'5". Short. He was a dark-skinned Dominican, man. Think of Big Papi. That's how dark he was. He was a dark-skinned Dominican, man. Bald head. Short dude, cool as hell, me chopping it up all the time. And then she came because she was checking out the area. Guess what this chick did? In ways to greet him, to feel like she was down with the group, she laughed and said some joke, and she patted him on the head like he was some goddamn puppy. And I looked at her and I looked at him and I saw his vibe. And on top of that, he's an older man. You got to show respect. This is an OG. He lived his life. You patting him on the head. You don't even know him like that. You know what I mean? So one, he an OG. Two, he lived his life. He demands that respect in his presence. Three, you don't even know him like that. And she patted on him like, yo, she don't even. So I already know where she was coming from. You know, you get that energy. You see. The words don't have to be said directly. You see. And from there, we was I just, from a distance, but I know where she was coming from. So as far as what Dave Chappelle was talking about, yeah, it's a real thing. And that was a great learning lesson. And it was not my only learning lesson. That's what put me on my guard. That blew my mind. I did a 180, never again. But those are the life lessons that you live when you grow up, when you come up in life. And I never forgot it. And my eyes were keen, sharp to seeing that again. And then, yeah, I did see it. So it ain't nothing new. It ain't nothing crazy what Dave Chappelle was talking about. So yeah, man, racism in the gay community, the white community. Is it does the LGBTQ community go through things? Of course they do, whether they're black or white. And more so for the black ones, because when they get run up on by any racist, by any individual, it's blackness first. Because they can hide their homosexuality. They can hide it, right? They can very much well hide that. But they can't hide their blackness. I tell you that. They can't hide it. So the first thing when you see someone 10, 20, 30, 50 feet away and someone got it in their mind to run up on them for whatever reason, they're going to be running up on them because it's color first. And then when they find out, oh, well, this person's also gay. Okay, look. Then the other phobia comes out. But yeah, man, he was straight up. He was real on Dave Chappelle, man. Now, what we going to do with this information? How are we going to talk about it? What conversations are we going to have between the LGBTQ community and the black community? How are we going to come to terms with that? How are we going to figure out our differences and what commonalities can we see to actually say, hey, this is a real thing? So you're not just going to cancel Dave Chappelle like that. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So, and can I say he was rough? But he was rough on purpose because he was trying to get someone's attention, and he certainly did get some attention. You know what I mean? So this is not to create more rifts. I think we have to use this as a learning lesson. We have to use this as an opportunity, again, to have this conversation, to have this dialogue. Have the gay community been funny style with it, right? And what can we learn from ourselves too? It's not just a one-way road here. What are some things that we can correct on ourselves and our fault? Because there are homophobic, black people too. Don't get twisted. So what can we learn to better ourselves? So yeah. So it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And I could get into deeper, and maybe we can have another conversation about this later. Because as far as black people, as black men is concerned, and I'll say this, we've always had that conversation as far as how homosexuality is used as a weapon against heterosexual men. Because white supremacy, racist men use that against black masculinity. They use it. They're afraid of it, number one, and they use homosexuality as a weapon. They use it as a certain comfort level in their own workspaces. They rather work with gay men than heterosexual masculine men. This is a real thing. This is a conversation. I'm just saying the conversation that I've had with people over the years. What we're talking about, this is nothing new. We've been talking about this for a long time. Here is what's happening, that it's finally coming to the surface and it's crossing over into the other communities, into other ears for them. Really? Yes. We every time I walk down Fifth Avenue when I go into a boutique, the only person that was masculine, that was straight, was security. And security was where? Outside. People that worked inside that handle the shoes, right? And I guess one of the boutique shoe stores, they were always gay. It's rare that you see a straight man in there. Now, I don't know what people are attracted to, what people would do, what jobs are attracted by a certain group of people, right? When it comes to gay or straight. And I've been in spaces where I know that those people with isms were always more comfortable with homosexual black men. Because number one, they ain't messing with the white women up in there. They're not messing with the white women, all right? Number two, they feel that they're not messing with the white women. So you have a homosexual workmate, whatever like that. You cool. He say, hey, Jamal, what's going on? How's your weekend been? All right, okay. I've seen it. I've been in those spaces where that's how the interaction is. And I'm watching. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just observing. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So we go back into our homes, call up our boys, and we have these conversations. Racist white men are more comfortable with homosexual black men. And when that sometimes not It doesn't just happen in a shoe boutique or a store or something else. It happens. Where else do we think of workspaces? Hollywood. Okay. How do I make myself more comfortable? Because you have to believe in the illusion. You have to see how their illusion affects their mental state, their psychology, how that psychology plays itself on the people that they're around, the spaces that they're in, what they would like to see them, where they would like to be, where it's less threatening on their own self, their own bodies, their own comfort zones, whether it's at the gym, whether it's at work, in your neighborhood, in your chill out spaces. You know what I mean? It happens everywhere. And it plays itself out in Hollywood. You have the discussion as far as what's going on. Okay, black men gonna wear dresses. It makes you think, why you want me to wear a dress, dude? These are questions that we ask you, heterosexual. Yo, why you want to? And sometimes straight men use homosexuality as a weapon against other straight men. And they'll, you're a pansy, you're a pussy, you're why don't you wear a dress? And they use that to undermine the credibility of the other heterosexual man. Even though we're all aware of how these isms play out, homophobia, the words we all are aware of the words that are wrong to use and around certain types of people. We're all aware of that. We don't think we're stupid. Just like in racism, don't think white folks don't understand how racism is playing against black communities across America. They're very well aware, just like how heterosexual men, whether white or black, are very aware of how homosexuality is used or what it is or how it behaves, what words to use, what words to not use. We're very aware. Do not get it twisted. So even with the knowledge of the words that are bad and the words that are appropriate, even in those certain heterosexual spaces, those men that want to slight another heterosexual man will use those words against the heterosexual man that they have issues with. They use homosexuality as a weapon. Yo, stop being a homo. Yes, these words are used. I've been in those spaces. I'm like, yo, word. And it throws me off. I'm like, yo, son, word? Are you for real? Heterosexual men know what they're doing. And they know what they're doing with the words that they use against other heterosexual men. And they know what they're doing when it comes to in positions of power, especially in Hollywood. Hey, man, you want to wear this dress? It's cool. Yes, are there white comedians and actors that wear dresses? Sure, no problem. But it's always a little different when it comes to the black actors. Hey, man, wear this dress. And a lot of times, it's an inside joke. I get him, wear this dress. You understand what I'm saying? Why you want me to wear this dress? And sometimes we can, step a little bit out of pocket and we say, huh? And we say, well, this white guy, he wore a dress. It was super funny. Right? But when it comes to the black actors, it's more so, hey, we got to get you in a role where you're going to just wear this dress. These are real conversations. These are very real conversations where you say, oh, you're just being paranoid, but you have to think about it. The effeminization of black men. It happens all the time. Do I think it? Yes, I think it all the time because I've seen it at play when I'm in my own circles where there's no camera, where there's no microphone, where there's no recording of anything. It happens in those quiet rooms, in those four wall spaces, and the moments happen. Those little fleeting moments happen, and you're like, did I see what I just saw? And they become things that you record in your brain and you take it along with you in life, along your journey. You're like, wow, and you see it again, and you see it again, and you see it again. All the while we're being educated on TV and the radio how it is not to treat the homosexual community, the LGBTQ community, but yet it still happens. You know what I mean? And then you see it constantly going in on TV. Constantly you see it. I'm like, what's the deal with that? Why do you want this character continuously? You see it repeated. Okay, he's gonna play the gay character. Okay, cool. And I'm all cool for equality and inclusivity. I'm all with that. But we need strong male characters. We need strong family men. And we need that to be represented on TV. And then when it's always kind of like, oh, the sassy black gay guy. I'm like, huh, what? It's always been this thing, like a party favor. Okay, there's the sassy black woman, right? Okay, all right, we use that enough. Let's put that aside. Okay, we have to have the sassy black gay guy. I'm like, huh? Okay, all right. And when you see it replay itself in different circles, and you start seeing a pattern in different spaces, in different shows, in the movies, in the commercials, you start seeing a pattern develop. Now, like I said, again, I'm all for inclusivity, because everyone has a right to be seen and to be respected and to be validated. Because what my man said, I forgot the name of the transgender. I'm going through a human experience. We are all going through human experiences. That we, as a black man living in this country here, living here, not around the world, but living here, United States of America, I'm going through a living experience where I constantly am subjected to white supremacy, structural racism, and I have to constantly navigate around and maneuver, and it's tiring some days. And then I blow up my chest and I go out there and I face the world. But these are things that I have to do. That's my experiences, and I understand you have yours as a transgender person, which is hard. And I'm not in any way gonna try to diminish the struggles that you have to go through. You got the triple, especially if you're black. But again, when you want to see an equal representation of yourself on the screen, and all of a sudden it pivots over to like, oh, wait a second. But again, as I said, in the heterosexual world, homosexuality is used as a weapon. You don't mind using this. You don't paint your nails? Okay, cool. And nothing wrong. And I have to constantly say that because people, when they listen to, oh my God, you're homophobic. No. Live your truth. I'd rather talk with a gay man living his truth than a man that's in the closet. And you know those situations where you're like, wait, is this guy? I'm like, all right, man, that's your business. When you're ready to be comfortable with yourself, that's your business. But a dude that's living his truth and he's wearing a wig and he's wearing, hey man, listen, that's what it is. Okay, and I keep it real, right? So I went to a show. I had no idea. I had no idea that it was a transgender, transsexual part. No idea, right? I saw a friend of mine. She was an artist. I said, yo, let me go check her out. Oh, I'm forgetting her name. I can't remember her right now. So I went to go see her show. It was in Lower Manhattan. But I didn't know that was her crowd. I had no idea. I said, let me just check out this artist and her show. She's a very, dramatic, theatrical singer. She's dope, right? She could act, she could sing, she could do all these things. She does her show as art pieces. In this case, she was in a boxing ring and her whole theme was boxing and switching clothes and all that. I can't remember her name. Not transgender, by the way. Biologically her. And her crowd was the transsexual. And I ain't like run out the joint. I was like, oh my God, this is not my crowd. Ah! I was like, hey, oh shit. This is her crowd. This is her crowd. And I watched the show. People were chilling, mingling amongst each other, whatever. I'm like, hey man, listen, I'm comfortable in my own heterosexualness where it's like, okay, I'm here now. Well, I'm just gonna run out. Okay, I'm gonna join the show like everybody else. And that was her thing. You know what I mean? So I respect the community. I respect the gay community. You have a right to exist just like I have a right to exist. If that's your truth, that's who you are, live your life, man. And even if I don't understand it, it in no way translates into invalidating your existence just because I don't understand. I'm not here to validate your life. You were not born to meet me in order for your life to be validated. So you're going to go about your business and live your life. You know what I mean? But these are the things that we see. It's very sophisticated. It's layered, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's elegant. Racism is elegant, man. It's become an elegant thing, and it interweaves into all different the fabric of society, and the thread, how it threads itself and overlays itself into this and into the intersectionality. Okay, that's a word of our society, and it shrouds itself where it's almost like reverse racism. When a white person says, "Oh my God, that's reverse racism," and black people are like, "What? What are you talking about? The absurdity of it?" But then you have racism that shrouds itself in social justice issues and organizations and peoples and moments, and then when you point it out, all of a sudden it uses that against the person that's pointing it out, like Dave Chappelle. "Oh my God, you're homophobic, you're transphobic," and then people are supposed to react to that in ways where you quote unquote cancel the person. So that's kind of like the cousin to that reverse racism accusation. So it's interesting. So people, I'm here for that dialogue. I'm here for that talk. So don't crucify me. I'm saying this. This is an opportunity where you can call, you can reach out to me, and we can have this conversation. One-on-one, right there on YouTube. We could tape it. We record it. We could do a Zoom interview and everything. If you're a person that's from the LGBTQ community, please be my guest. Anyway, moving on now. Silk Sonic is coming out with a joint. Bruno Mars, man, Anderson .Paak finally releasing a long-awaited album. Highly anticipated. I've never I haven't seen that. I haven't experienced a highly anticipated. I'm like genuinely, not just written in a magazine, online publication, whatever. I mean, genuinely highly anticipated. Ever since the first single came out, they came out with a second single. I mean, people are looking for this album. It's refreshing. What they're talking about, their presentation. Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak with Silk Sonic, so I'm looking forward to it. They're actually, I don't even know when it's coming out. I think soon. Probably later this year, definitely. You know who else is coming out with something? Bjork, man. Bjork got some tour dates for her, this cornucopia tour in 2022. It was actually her first theatrical production that debuted as a residency at the Shed in NYC in New York City. And it received such great vibes, great energy, great response. She decided to bring it back, and it's going to be in San Fran. She's going to have 5 dates in late January, early February. So if you want any more information on this cornucopia tour dates, please go to her site, Bjork's website. Just type in Bjork, BJORK. Love Bjork, man. I just love her style, man, and every direction that she runs in, man. She's just unorthodox. I love the unorthodox nature of her music. You don't know where she's going, but you're willing to take that journey with her wherever it is in that moment. Yeah, Bjork is hit it for me many moons ago, and I'm glad she's still doing her thing. Last, before we get out of here, man, what is going on with this Trump character, man? I don't understand it here. This guy Trump, man, I can't understand it. So I'm seeing there's a bunch of, he's doing rallies in different states. Like it's getting put out there where he's going to be run for the presidency in 2024. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. I mean, this guy has been a fuck nut in his business days, from Trump Tower to him dipping out in contractors down in New Jersey to what else? What else he be doing? Things that he been doing on his own show, the bankruptcy, him trying to get loans, and the sleaziness, up to the presidency, everything that he spoke about from his campaign up to when he got elected president, all the effery, the Russian connection. Oh my God! Look, you can mess who you wanted to as far as business-wise for your Russian connect because obviously you couldn't get any more loans in America, so he had to get loans overseas, and that's fine, all well and good, no problems, right? That's business. We're living in an era of globalization. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But then when you become president, that's an issue. It's a national security issue because we don't know to what degree you have been compromised. So that's like a serious issue that I'm thinking of, like, hey, what's going on with that? I don't think that alone to me should have disqualified him. But all this fuck shit that he been doing all this while, up until the point where it crescendoed to January 6th, when insurrection happened at the Capitol building. And he drove that crowd into a bloody frenzy. And that happened how it happened. And for all this to happen, everything that I said, everything that I left out, up to the point of January 6th, everything, the both face lies, everything in this one big, nasty, disgusting, garbage spewing, dripping with vomit package, like, think. Wrapped up in this one big wheelbarrow vomit disgustingness, everything this man spewed, and the whole of the world, not just America, is watching, right? And this guy, no one is questioning this guy running for 2024, which is, he has a legal right to run again for a second term. Why isn't any of these news organizations saying anything? How is the United States government not doing anything to stop this man from running? This guy is going to run, and I think he can win too. How, Sway? How? Everybody around him is going to jail. Everybody around him is going to jail. If everybody's going to jail, how is this dude walking freely? There's got to be a line where you just cannot cross. There's got to be a line as an American citizen that you cannot cross, that it is sacrilegious. It is the sin of all sins. You put all together, all the 10 commandments, it trumps everything. As a citizen of this country, there's certain things that you just cannot do. You can get away with certain things. Okay, cool. I get that to a certain degree. But there are things that where is the line drawn as an American patriot, as we all talk about saluting, giving our love and support to the military, right? The Pledge of Allegiance, being a patriot, being a citizen, everything, the red, the white, and the blue, everything that it is to be American in this country. Is there not a line where you cannot cross? And if there is no line, if this man is allowed to run unhindered, unobstructed, and he could just do whatever he wants, what does that say about America? What does that say about American politicians? What does that say about the people? That we can allow this to happen. I don't care who it is. You can remove Trump and you could put any face in there if they did any of these things. They're like, no, I'm sorry, man. You can't run. You're going to have to step down. What do you mean I can't? That's my guy. No, we're going to strip you of all those rights because of what has been happening. Yeah, you could get away with the hookers. Yeah, you could get away with the fleecing contractors. You may have gotten away with bankruptcy, but you sent the American people, you sent people to raid the Capitol building. Unheard of. And how can we play these word games and play footsies with something as heinous as that? And this man, and it's just not a thought. It's like, okay, yeah, he's having a rally over here. Yeah, he's on Fox News over here. Yeah, he's over there. So what if he's banned from Twitter? That's nothing. He's banned from social media. Who cares? That's first step. It's cool. Not knocking that. But what are we doing where a man can do whatever he wants and not even smell or even have 1 ounce of a nerve run of being locked up? And there are poor people all around in America getting locked up for nothing. And this man did the utmost sin, and they're going like he just pulled a tag off a mattress. He's going about his life like he cut a line at McDonald's. You know what I mean? That, and I was thinking about it when I'm driving, and I'm like, what is going on? What has become? America has its flaws. America has its original sin, slavery. America is still dealing with institutional racism, and we're dealing with all that stuff. And the worst of people getting killed because of the color of their skin to being locked out of access. Everything that we know about a United States of America. But you think there would be something. Everything that we do from fraud and credit card fraud and espionage, corporate espionage, whistleblowers that they may not like. Hey man, it's national security issues. You can't just be giving any information, right or wrong, whether in America's right or wrong. But yet this right here, this, everything, any person of sound mind and body sees this for what it is. Anyone with common sense and could just sit there and absorb all the information of everything this man has done. And here it is. He's running. He wants to run for president again. It should be no thing it should be an open and shut case. We're like, no, you can't run, man. We have a difference in political opinions, but you can't do what you did. And it should strike him from running for president, his sons, his daughter, everyone. No, you can't do that anymore. It went too far, but no. We are here. Man. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you for listening to me. Talk on another hour and 15 minutes on the show. That you stuck it out this long, I do appreciate it. Please go and sign up for Lyfeblood.com. You heard my rant or my words on how I feel about social media and what happened to Lil Duval and what's happening to all the black celebrity accounts, the smaller accounts. Please sign up for Lyfeblood.com. Be a part of that. We're gonna take it to where we need to take it, and we're gonna open it up to the world, to every corner, every citizen, every person, every global citizen will sign up here, and we're gonna do something different. We're not gonna do what Facebook is doing. We're gonna do something that's going to forward human society. You understand what I'm saying? You heard what I've said this before. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Tune in for next week. Again, I'll always keep you abreast of any new developments that's happening and what I'm trying to do with Lyfeblood.com and with the event that I'm doing. So, yeah, folks. Thank you for listening. I'm gonna get out of here. All right, peace, y'all. Peace.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.